If someone asked you what you did today and you said nothing, you've come home for a trip or graduation or the move or the week where you held the entire family together. You held them together with your love, with your well thought out plans, with all the things that you pre-anticipated. What is the perfect amount of activity balanced with inactivity? Where are the snacks? What should the snacks be? Where should the breaks be? The perfect balance of what you think everybody needs in order to have a good time together as a family. And the first thing you did when you finally sat down was you wondered, why am I so tired? Or maybe you were sharing about your recent event with a friend and you're like, yeah, I don't know why I'm so tired, but I really didn't do anything today. If this is you, I want you to know something that I wish someone had prepared me for way back when about this stage of life. So if that's you, I'm talking to you. Listen to the introduction and meet me on the other side for a deeper dive and a deeper sense of understanding what's really going on here.
Einstein said, "We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them." Most everyone in the world is solving their problems the wrong way. Our problems come from our thinking, and we can solve them with our thinking. So, whether you're at your lowest, just trying to grow, or whether you are trying to sustain growth over your lifetime, join us as we push the boundaries of our current thinking and redefine how we find Soul-u-tions.
The hope and the strength and the love and the smiles and the laughter of friends and family. Add it up, you'll find no limit to the possibilities.
Welcome to the Soul-u-tions Podcast. I'm your host, Tara Simkins, and this is the place, this moment, this podcast, I hope, is becoming a sacred space for you to take for yourself. A time when you can stop managing your own life long enough to actually listen to yourself think and to pour something good into yourself. So get comfortable and maybe even pour a nice glass of tea or coffee. So here's what I've been watching in my own life lately and in the lives of the women I coach inside the Soul-u-tions Labs. Women are doing a lot. Some will say you're doing everything that needs to be done behind the scenes that nobody else will do. And you're doing things truly that women have never done before in the history of humanity. And I know that sounds dramatic, but think about how crazy this is. Like, you will get off a plane and 40 hours later, you will drive across the country to move a kid who just graduated from college into their next apartment. You will then drive another couple of hours or hop on another plane to visit another kid who had a new baby. And you will hop on another plane and drive some more hours to stand next to your best friend while her daughter gets married. In between all of that, you'll come home and you'll do 5 loads of laundry. You will cook meals. You will pack boxes. You will unpack boxes. You'll pace the floor at 3 a.m. so that little baby that you're visiting won't wake up. And you will plan the vacation and the graduations and all the dinners, and you'll remember the birthdays and anticipate all the needs before anyone else even knows that they have one. And then you'll come home and you'll collapse and you'll say, I don't know why I'm so tired. I haven't really done anything, with a shrug of your shoulders. So a friend of mine said this to me recently. I really didn't do anything. And when I gently asked her to just list it out, like truly to ask yourself this question, if you had done something that would make you feel this tired, what would it have been? And just fill up a couple of legal pads worth of information. You probably, as she did, would end up with a list of 88 things that you did in 36 hours. 88 things that your brain had filed under nothing, not much, I didn't really do anything. I want to name for you what's actually happening, because this is not forgetfulness. It's something that you were trained into. You have learned to count something as real only if it is productive. And by productive, I mean visibly productive. You have learned that the love, the holding, the anticipating, the carrying, the remembering, the showing up, none of that gets to count because it's invisible, because nobody saw it. There's no certificate, no paycheck, not even a line item, only the things that you've crossed off all the miscellaneous papers that you write things on when you remember them so you won't forget them. So why are you so tired? Here's the thing, the part nobody names. Underneath the exhaustion, there might, in addition to all of the things that you've done, be a little grief. Something psychologists call identity grief. It's the grief that nobody needs you the way they used to need you. The grief of, I gave everyone the best years of my life. The grief of, I can't believe this is over. The grief of standing in your grown child's beautiful life and realizing, I'm not the center of this anymore, and I shouldn't be. And yet it breaks my heart a little to say that out loud. That's grief, my friend. And grief is also exhausting. It is labor. It takes energy. It just happens to be the thing that nobody talks about, that they're carrying within themselves. So, all right, I'll give you a personal story. I walked off a plane from Europe and within a day and a half was packing, planning, organizing, and going again, because I figured that I could, because the technology, think about it, the technology, the means to make it possible to live at a speed our mothers never dreamed of, it's there. Like, my mom would never have had the opportunity to do that. When I was born, so I'm just thinking about this. My mom was 25 years old when I was born. She was newly married, had been married for 10 months, and she and my dad shared a car. My grandfather, her father-in-law, would pick her up and drive her downtown so that she could go to work if my dad needed to take the car someplace else. Her mother lived a 10-hour drive away and, a 2 connecting flight away. And never in a million years did it dawn on my grandmother to hop in a car without my grandfather to drive the 10 hours to be there for my mom to help her unpack boxes and move things. Think about it. Like, it just wasn't done. Similarly, like, my mom didn't have a cell phone or affordable Wi-Fi where she could call my grandmother who lived 10-hour drive away and say, Mom, how do I do this? Mom, how do I do that? Mom, how do I do this? Mom, this is happening. What should I do now? That wasn't available. That technology was not available. And so truly, when I say that you are doing things and going at a speed that your mother and your grandmothers never traveled at, you really are. You really, really are. We just assume that because we're moms and empty nesters that we're doing the same thing that our mothers and grandmothers did. And we're not giving ourselves credit for all of the additional things that we're doing and the things that maybe kept them a little less exhausted and a little more sane that we're not doing for ourselves. So, taking the time to stop, look, listen, evaluate, and pivot. Those are the 5 steps we use in the Soul-u-tions Labs. And in the case of our own exhaustion, it is when you hear yourself say, I don't know why I'm so tired, that it's time to stop. And it's time to look at that feeling of exhaustion and listen to it. What is it telling you? It's telling you how fast you've been moving, so fast that you haven't even recognized it yourself. And that's what this evaluation phase is for all of us. I mean, your kids, your partners, like anybody you know, the same evaluation, this stop, look, listen, evaluate, and pivot 5-step process. I mean, it's just great for anybody to use. But for you in particular, you, the person who is doing all of this invisible work, you need to list it out for yourself to really evaluate, what have I done over the last 36 hours? And list it out. Just a simple question. What have I done? Take a look at those things and then think, here's another question that you might hear yourself say. Well, I wasn't really productive today. I'm not sure what I did. Those comments are telling you that it's just gone under the radar. I mean, you have been doing all day long, and you probably haven't had a moment to sit down and think about it. You just have been going. And so it's kind of like you're in a productivity trance. You just really aren't registering all the things. And so taking a moment to evaluate, even using this moment right now in this podcast to just place your hand over your heart, take a deep breath, quiet yourself, and hit the replay button of the last 36 hours with the intent of registering everything, every tiny movement that you did, every back and forth from one place to the other, every text that you responded to, just absolutely everything. The plant that you deadheaded, the plants that you watered that needed to be watered, the bed that you made, the steps that you got in, the thought about the meal, the bookkeeping. And yes, if you're working, all the work that you did on top of it. Just when I was a lawyer, we had to record our time in 6-minute increments. So when I'm saying get specific about what you did, just think through like the last 15 minutes, the last 30 minutes, the last hour, and scan your brain and write out. And this is an important step when we're evaluating why we're feeling a certain way, to write it out, especially because so much of this labor and this work is invisible. It's happening in your mind. It's happening with your energy. And so in order to recognize it, we have to make it visible, and we make it visible by writing it down. So here's a metaphor I keep coming back to. I want you to kind of think about this as if you were an athlete. And truly, one of the things I love about coaching is that we all are very comfortable with athletes having coaches. And we're still learning to get comfortable with just regular old people like us living ordinary lives. Like, why would I need a coach? I'm not a professional athlete. But you are living, again, in a time where you are working at a pace of a professional athlete, where it is helpful to you to think of yourself like a professional athlete thinks of themselves. So here's the metaphor: train, perform, recover. Train, perform, recover. We are extraordinary at training. We trained for 30 years to run this household, this family, this life, and you are world class at performing. You can perform, you can run a show, you can throw a party, you can host a graduation weekend, you can pack up a dorm room like a pro. But here's the big but. What every professional athlete knows is that after you perform, and even during your training, you have got to put in a recovery phase. It is a necessary part of both training and recovery from performance. And so the simple thing is, nobody ever told us that we were going to be the elite performers that we are in running our families at elite levels today. And what do I mean by elite? Like, you're looking on Instagram, you're looking at magazines, the culture is telling you the expectations that it has for you. And you are going to make sure that your dinner party is Instagram worthy. And you love doing it. And yet, it takes energy and it takes a lot out of you. And so recovery is the kind of the missing ingredient to our daily lives. Recovery is the thing that when we take a moment to stop, look, listen, and evaluate all the things that we are doing, why you might be tired, your recovery is the pivot. Rest is the pivot. It is what your exhaustion is begging you for. Now, this is going to be something I want that some of you are going to say, OMG, I never saw that coming, because it happened in the Soul-u-tions Labs just this week with one of our members who had been coming and going, visiting all the kids, packing, unpacking, putting all the miles in. And she showed up. She goes, well, I don't know why I'm so tired today. I mean, yesterday was Monday, and I really didn't do much yesterday. And then she proceeded to list all the things that she had done. Women on the call were saying, I need a nap just listening to the things that you did yesterday. She's looking into the Zoom frame of everyone, and she's just going, really? Really? That makes you tired? Like, that counts? All the things I did? I mean, I wasn't really productive. And it was so helpful to have a group of sacred witnesses who aren't in your trance, who are living outside of your world, but know your world intimately because they live your life too, to the exact same exacting standards that you live your life. And this one friend and woman in the labs go, well, where would I even begin? Like, what do you mean? What would I do if I didn't do the rest of the things that were on my list today? If those things don't count as recovery, I'm just stumped. I have no idea what would. And it was so amazing. People started saying a nap, a magazine, just a mindless Netflix binge on TV, a book for pleasure and not for learning. It was just beautiful to see all of these non-judgmental women throwing out lifelines to this one amazing woman who was just really stuck in her own exhaustion and performance, training, productivity loop. But when they started making these suggestions, she came back with reasons as to why those certain suggestions wouldn't work for her. That's how I knew as her coach that she was in it deep, like truly in the trance, deeply in it. Because she said, yeah, I've tried napping before. Napping doesn't really work for me. If you have ever said that, this part I want you to lean in and listen to clearly. That is just a bunch of BS that your brain is feeding you, that productivity, trance, brain that's hijacked the rest of your brain to say, yeah, napping doesn't work for me. I've tried it. Napping actually works for people. And someone on the call said, can you hear it? It was the kindest, dearest, gentlest tone of voice that she said this in. She goes, I think you are even trying to be ambitious in the way that you nap. Like you feel like you have failed at napping, and therefore napping is unavailable to you. So we gave her an assignment in the class, and the assignment was just to lay down on her bed, just to lay down on the bed. Watch her brain, where it went, where it wandered. Does it look around and start to think, oh, I need a fresh coat of paint over there, or, oh, I need to fix XYZ there, just to see where her brain went. Another suggestion, one that I love, is to listen to a yoga nidra meditation. Now, all you have to do is type in YouTube, yoga nidra, and I'll even put in the show notes a link that one of our members loves to use. And if you don't know what yoga nidra is, this is the end of a yoga class where the teacher walks you through a meditation that it tells you how to relax all the different parts of your body, like from the top of your head to your shoulders, to your fingers, to your arms, your legs, the tip of your toes. Like it seriously walks you through. And it's so amazing to see that, there is science behind this, that it will begin to relax you. And of course, it isn't just the instructions, but it's also the tone of the guide's voice. And eventually it will lead you and your body will begin to surrender. So we just said, set your clock for 20 minutes and see what happens. I loved it when we got a text, a group of us from the class got a text from this member, and it said, OMG, you won't believe it. I slept for 2.5 hours. And then this morning she said, and last night I slept for 10 hours. I really was tired. It is amazing what happens when you use these 5 steps: stop, look, listen, evaluate, and pivot. Truly, when you hear yourself say something like, I don't understand, why am I so tired? I haven't done anything. And you take that message from your soul as seriously as you would if you heard it from a dear friend or one of your kids. Like you took that message seriously. I am tired. And this other part of you is saying, I don't understand why I'm tired. And if you think of it as a conversation between these two parts of you, and then you walk in, this third wise part of you walks into the conversation and says, well, if you were tired, to the part of you that doesn't know why would you have a good reason to do it? Because that's the thing, right? We're just assuming there's not a good reason. We're assuming we shouldn't be. Like, there are just so many layers to this. And we can cut through the layers by stop, look, listening, and evaluating. Like, where is this exhaustion coming from? And then pivot out of the exhaustion and into the rest that we need, even if we don't think we're good at taking a nap. And just give yourself one 20-minute time frame to just try out the rest. And if you are that tired, you might find yourself waking up 2.5 hours later and still being able to sleep for 10 hours that night. all because you gave yourself time to stop, look, and listen to what you're really feeling, evaluating the truth behind it, why it might be there, and then giving yourself that thing that you need. So, hoping I've convinced a few of you to go take a nap this afternoon or tomorrow, or to even fold in napping as part of your goals this summer. And if you do, I would love to hear from you. My email address is Tara@Simkins, TaraSimkins.com, and just put in there nap and how long you took a nap for. And listen, if it doesn't work for you, let me know that as well, because I bet there's something else we can unlock that's keeping you from napping, or maybe this magic yoga nidra is the thing that you need. I have all faith in the fact that if you're telling yourself that you're tired and you're exhausted, that there is a really great reason for it, because I know all the things that you do. And I hope that you will share this with a friend who does all the things too, so that she will know she is not alone, and neither are you, that there is a great group of women who are on the cutting edge of figuring out why we might all be so tired all the time, and how we can begin to give ourselves the respect that we need, and the attention that we need, and the recovery that we need in order to continue loving and planning and organizing and doing all the things that we love to do behind the scenes. Thank you for listening to this episode, and I cannot wait to record the next one for you. Have a great day.
'Cause I ain't done living the life I'm meant to lead. And I ain't done loving the ones who cared for me. The hope and the strength and the love and the smiles and the laughter of friends and family. Add it up, you'll find no limit to the possibilities. The left and the right and some faith in the fight, and your courage is all you